Hello, you remember my bike, the Fortis Foldable Electric bicycle that I bought myself for my birthday? Well, today I'm going to ride it, hooray! So the shops have finally reopened and I managed to get myself a snazzy new bike helmet, in a charcoal black of course, and I have to pull a silly face, I can't help myself. So it had been years since I've ridden a bicycle and I've been going out a few times just to get my bike legs back and regain my confidence. Thankfully there are a lot of bike trails around where we live, which is really great because I really hate riding on the road, especially a busy highway like this. There's no way I'm going out there with cars. Oh, it's so bright, it was such a sunny day and it was just perfect weather, so I just really wanted to get out and enjoy it. Plus we have a 4-day weekend because it's Melbourne Cup Day this week, and as you can probably guess I have not done very much art, which is why I'm putting up this video instead. That's Nick ahead of me there. He has a standard push bike, so he's really got to pedal up those hills, sucker. It's easy right now because we're going down the hill, but sooner or later we're going to have to come back up it, and that's always such a tough slog, but we'll worry about that later. So now we're off the road and onto a creek trail, and I left the audio in this so that you can hear me riding the bike and also when I kick in the battery power to go up a hill. Oh, it really is the best thing ever. It just makes pedaling so much easier. Like, it takes off that real pressure you have in the quad muscles and you don't get that painful lactic acid build-up so easily. So it sort of just kind of propels the bike forward, but I can still pedal it, and I really like that. There are other electric bikes which have an actual throttle on it, so you don't even need to pedal and it will take off. But I prefer to pedal the bike. I want to use it for exercise as well, and I find that the battery power just helps me to get up some of those more difficult areas so I can continue, and I have to get off the bike and shamefully walk up the hill with it. I've done that before, so embarrassing. But it's such a nice day, and there were quite a lot of other people out on their bikes, although not quite as much as is usually the case on a weekend when this place is absolutely packed with people. So this creek trail that I'm on, it's really long. I looked it up and it goes for 44 kilometers, which is 27 miles. So it's quite a long way. I have not done the whole thing yet. It is going to take a long time to build up to that. I think I did about 8 kilometers there and back. So I'm working up to it, and here's me kicking in the battery power again. There's a button console on the handlebars that you can switch it on and off, and I usually have it switched off because it's really scary when you pedal and the thing just takes off. So I always try to make sure I have it set to 0 before I start riding, and then I just flick it on to 1 when I want to get a bit of a push. The motor has 5 settings. I have yet to go past 2 on it. I'm a bit of a sook when it comes to going too fast. You can see I'm riding quite slowly. I was probably averaging about 15 k's an hour for the most part. I could go faster if I really tried, but I'm still just trying to get my confidence, and I just wanted to look around me and enjoy the scenery as well. I think I stopped here to take a break in recording. Oh yes, that's right, I flipped the camera around so I could record myself riding the bike, and this, I swear, is the worst angle. It is so unflattering, my lord, but never mind, here's me riding the bike. And it's also finally a chance to use my action cam that I've had for ages but just have been in lockdown and have been nowhere to use it, so yay, I got to use that. It's actually clipped onto the front of my bike. And I bought a cheap accessory kit off Amazon which has got all sorts of parts so I can use the camera mounted on my bike, my helmet, and it even has a chest strap if I want to walk around with it and do some sketching. That's what I plan to do in the future, but today we just ended up riding and just enjoying the sunshine. It was too much to stop and do a whole sketch as well. That's something I want to do when I'm on my own and not have Nick, being bored out of his mind while I sit there for an hour or so doing some art. The camera I'm using is a DJI Osmo Action. It's pretty much exactly the same as a GoPro. It looks very similar and you can mount it in the same sorts of housing. DJI is the company that makes a lot of drones as well, so one day we'd like to get one of them, and that would be some pretty fun footage as well, but that's down the track as those are really expensive and we're saving up for one, hopefully. But for now, this little action camera is perfect and I'm really happy with how it's working. And I think I pulled over here and landed on this really bumpy bit, so that is enough of the selfie footage. And back to forward-facing camera, which is a much better view. So, as I mentioned before, this trail goes for about 44 k's, and we have not done the whole thing by any means. But it is just so pretty down here. It feels very rural, even though we are still on the outskirts of Melbourne City. I mean, there's a lot of shops and things around these areas. It's just this one little area is so lovely, and it goes underneath a lot of the roads, so they've built bridges over the creek and the trail goes underneath the bridges, so you can go for ages. It's really great. And we're very fortunate to live somewhere that has spent quite a lot of money investing in bike trails and things like that for people to get out on, because even during lockdown we could come down here and enjoy some of the nature and get out of the house. So it's been fantastic for that. And here's one of the bridges. This is one of the main roads up above us, but you can just cycle underneath and not be anywhere near cars, which I think is fantastic. As I said before, I hate to ride on roads. It's far too scary, and I'm just not a fast enough rider. It's not like I have a road bike, you know, where you can get up to 60 k's an hour, and I'd be too terrified to do so anyway. But I just thought you might like to see some of the pretty nature, and there goes someone who is much faster than I am. But along here there are a few park benches, so I do plan to come back down here with my sketching kit and do some painting. It would just be so nice to get out of the studio and do some plein air work. But I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It's very much weather dependent, because I want a nice sunny day like this, or even if it's cloudy but no rain, that would be fine. And I also need to find a time when Nick's working and we aren't taking a day off, because usually when we have a day off like this we go cycling together, and so it's not really conducive for me stopping for a very long time to do an artwork, whereas if I'm on my own during a weekday, then I can just come down here for a few hours and film and paint and just not worry about other people getting bored. Look, there's a park bench. I just went past it now. That's quite possibly one that I would sit at. So I am considering doing a bike series over time and doing some art as well, because that would make sense, me being an art channel. But today I just wanted to enjoy myself and also practice using the camera a bit. I mean, how pretty is this scenery? It's just so lovely. I love it so much. So coming up to this bridge is where we tend to stop and turn around, but hopefully soon I'll be going much further than this. But at least I'm getting out, and we all have to start somewhere. And then Nick filmed a little bit of me riding the bike. Normally I'd have to set up a camera on a tripod, and that would just be too much work for me. So here's a little bit of footage, and it's probably the only time you'll see me riding the bike like this, as normally the camera's resting on the handlebars itself. Whee! Alright, enough of my shenanigans. Now we've got to get up the big hill to go home again. Oh joy! This is where the electric bike really holds its own and is so much easier. So here's some more real-time audio, and you can hear me puffing away because I was getting pretty tired here. It doesn't look like it's a steep hill, but it really is quite considerable, and it just keeps going. And here we go. Oh, so much easier. So I'm pedaling, but the bike is doing so much more of the work, so it's a lot easier on my legs. Oh, it's still quite a puffy ride though, and we're not even at the end of it. I'll spare you the noise of the cars going under the bridge because it was deafening. And as I came around the corner, there was this little elderly couple staggering along here, so I was being very careful not to run into them and make sure I get around that lot before pedaling with the battery power on again. So that's all I've got for today, really. I just wanted to get out on the bike, and I thought I'd film a little vlog while I was at it. I will be getting back to art on the weekend. I am halfway through filming something. I just need to finish painting a couple of things. But in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. And if you've been considering maybe getting yourself a new bike, I'd highly recommend getting an electric one. They're not cheap, but the one I got off Kogan is pretty reasonably priced, and I'm really liking it. I think it's a fantastic bike, and I have no complaints about it. So I will see you all again on my weekend video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day out there, and I will watch you later. Almost at the top of the hill, man. This last bit is always killer. I'm buggered after that. My face is so sweaty.